Week 3 of the Derek Chauvin trial starts.
Believe that Mr. George Floyd's death was absolutely preventable.
As the prosecution finalizes its case. Just miles from the courthouse, a shocking shooting.
It's my belief that the officer had the intention to deploy their taser.
What the police chief says he learned from the body cam footage. And an amazing sight on a Florida beach.
Wow, look at that.
As a waterspout comes ashore. It's all coming up on Newsbreak.
Hello, South Florida. I'm Zitlali Solache, and today is Tuesday, April 13th, 2021.
From the South Florida Media Network's Biscayne-based studios in North Miami, this is SFMN Newsbreak.
Confusion this morning after a deadly shooting. The police chief in Brooklyn Center, Minnesota, says this recording leads him to believe his officer thought she had grabbed her taser, not her gun. Mistake or not, the loss of Daunte Wright is leaving a big hole in the heart of an area that is already hurting. As the network's Raquel Lewis reports, you can double that for the family he leaves behind, including the son who has his same name.
A family in Brooklyn Center, Minnesota grieves after the death of 20-year-old Daunte Wright. Wright was killed by police during a traffic stop.
Now a city outraged.
This was an accidental discharge.
But Daunte's aunt, Naisha Wright, doesn't buy it.
You mean to tell me you thought it was a taser? Do you know how that feels for me to hear my brother call out for his son?
Just miles away, former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin stands trial accused of killing George Floyd less than a year ago.
Not a bad guy, man. It hasn't even been a year ever since he passed, and it's already we lost another black man to police.
Daunte leaves behind girlfriend and son Daunte Jr.
He loved his son, and that's not fair that his son can't have his dad in his life.
Calls for change occur. Multiple counties were under curfew last night. Still, people gathered outside the Brooklyn Center police station. Again, police and protesters amid tear gas, flashbangs, and even firewalls. There was property damage and dozens of arrests. Emotions running high in the streets, in the courtroom, and in hearts.
We're too young to be seeing our other black folk pass to police brutality. And I don't like it. And I'm here today to stand on it.
Raquel Lewis report.
In Portland, a crowd of 200 peaceful protesters surrounding a government building last night following vigils for Daunte Wright. As the night continued, the protest escalated, with the crowd throwing objects such as fireworks, rocks, and frozen water bottles, authorities eventually declaring it a riot. Large protest also occurring in Seattle for Daunte Wright's death. Just 10 miles from the roadside where Daunte Wright died, the defense for Derek Chauvin is scheduled to begin today. He's the former officer charged with murder in the death of George Floyd last May. In the last full day of defense testimony, Floyd's younger brother took the stand to talk about the man George was before his death made him famous.
He just was like a person that everybody loved around the community. He just knew how to make people feel better.
Also yesterday, the defense called Dr. Jonathan Rich. The cardiologist testified that he believes George Floyd would be alive today if not for the way he was restrained. Prince Harry has arrived back in the United Kingdom for the funeral of his grandfather. After his arrival, Harry released a statement saying that he will remember Prince Philip as a master of barbecue and banter. Buckingham Palace says the funeral is set for Saturday. Prince Harry's wife, Meghan Markle, is expecting the couple's second child and was not cleared by her doctor to fly. U.S. health authorities have called for a pause in the Johnson & Johnson COVID vaccine after what they describe as rare and severe cases. The U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention and the U.S. Food and Drug Administration says the decision comes after 6 cases were said to have types of blood clots. But the agencies say it will be up to the individual states to make the final decision. Spring breakers and Panama City Beach residents were blown away by a large water spout over the weekend. But luckily, nobody appeared to be on the beach where it landed.
Wow, look at that!
The footage of the funnel cloud coming ashore was captured by anchor Sin, who was visiting the area for a few days while his kids were out of school. Some damage was reported in the city, but no deaths or injuries were reported. Turning to sports, where the Miami Marlins were playing their first of 4 straight against the Atlanta Braves. The Fish were going for back-to-back wins, something they had not done yet this season, and it would take extra innings to do it. Miami scoring 2 runs in the top of the 10th inning to win the game 5-3. The same 2 teams face off again tonight at 7:20. From the parking lot to the runaway, American Airlines is bringing back its fleet to deal with a surge in travelers. That's still ahead, and so is this story.
Doing good. He's a musician. He's a director. He's an actor.
The man who popularized the line, "I'm not throwing away my shot," takes a tour of a COVID vaccination facility. Newsbreak will be back in 2 minutes.
If I could go back and change it all, I would. I think I'm gonna miss you the most. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Maybe it's just the little moments. If I could go back and change it all, if I could go back, I would. But I can't.
My heart doesn't see race. Love is love.
Roll over. Chance high five. All right.
When you adopt a shelter pet, you discover all the things that make them unique.
And your mother and...
I am totally a hot person. Right, guys? Thanks for being honest. They're a little bit of a lot of things, but they're all pure love. Adopt pure love at theshelterpetproject.org.
Today I'm going to talk to you about physics. Come on in, girls. Let's go. This is the first rocket to get humans to Mars.
Really tall.
I'm a rocket structural engineer, designing and building parts of the rocket. You are the generation that will be stepping foot on Mars. Do I have a group of astronauts on my hands?
Yes.
You can become a rocket scientist or whatever else you want to be.
Airline mechanics working overtime this morning as their employers work out a plan to get jets that have been parked during the pandemic back in the air. American Airlines, which has a big hub at Miami International, has been storing most of its parked planes outside. Now the race is to get their own back into service safely.
The pressure is on at American Airlines Tulsa maintenance base. Here crews are preparing planes to meet the new surge in air travel. American says all of its planes will be flying again by the end of the month, including to MIA, which is a hub for American Airlines.
In many ways, we touch the aircraft, actually have more maintenance requirements on the aircraft that has been in storage or is in storage than we do with the aircraft that's out actively flying.
The things that could have been negatively impacted by the fact that it was parked have been identified, they've been addressed, and they've been resolved. And so I can assure you 110% that these aircraft are safe and they're ready to fly.
In the middle of last summer, booking a flight was a sure thing. But when air travelers go to American Airlines website now, they're finding full flights.
The latest data shows airline travel closing in on a recovery. The newest jump in numbers means the Transportation Safety Administration needs more help screening passengers. It is hiring 6,000 new airport security officers to staff checkpoints, holding hiring events nationwide.
I think the big thing is for us, we want to be prepared for the summer. We're clearly taking a lot of efforts to make sure that happens.
American Airlines pilots will also be checked to make sure they are up to snuff, being thoroughly checked in classrooms and simulators before coming back on the job. For South Florida Media Network, this is Casey Mintz.
Hamilton creator Lin-Manuel Miranda toured a vaccination site yesterday that will help the entertainment industry get their shot. Miranda said he wants people to get back to going to live shows, but adds that can't happen until people get vaccinated. New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio says the entertainment industry is a big part of the economy for NYC, but more importantly, it's part of the city's identity. That's all the time we have for Newsbreak. I'm Zitlali Solache. Get more news anytime at sfmn.fiu.edu.